Akwaba.
Akwaba, what is that?
It
What is
means
the meaning
welcome.
Oh, it means welcome. It's Ghanaian.
Yay!
Okay. Akwaba.
I try to
Kwaba.
start off every
Kwaba.
episode like that. Everybody's like, what is that?
Patience, say it with your chest.
Akwaba.
Say it with authority.
Akwaba.
That's right.
So.
Joe. It means thank you in my language. So thank
Joe,
you.
okay.
Joe.
Dope.
Mm-hmm.
Dope. Awesome.
So it's nice to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking out your time. You're very busy businesswoman here. So welcome to Now College. This is a podcast for college experiences. You talk about what you went through and how you survived and how you got through. I'm your host today, Alma. So if you can tell me a little bit about yourself, you know, your name, your major, and what you do for a living.
All right. So, hey, everyone. My name is Ejiroghene. I sometimes go by Ejiroghene. And my major in college was interdisciplinary studies with an emphasis on public health. And for a living, I'm a public health research analyst.
All right. So, one of my questions I ask everybody on here from K through 12, what kind of student were you?
What kind of student? That's so broad because I feel like the type of student I was changed as I went through each phase of my academics. So like I think in elementary school, I was, a social learner. I enjoyed learning in groups, learning with my peers, which I don't think really changed as I got older. I think it changed in college. But yeah, when I was in elementary school, I learned well in groups and learned well visually. I remember doing, my dad would buy us math books the year beforehand, and we would have to know our math.
That might be an African thing.
Girl, that's an African thing. He would come. I remember at the end of the year, school was over. He would come. I bought you guys math book for fifth grade. I'm graduating fourth grade, going to fifth. I brought math book. So that summer, I will be practicing my math for the following grade. So I was always, school was a part of me. I was a social student though, like in elementary school and those formative years. I loved learning and I was always so excited to learn something new. And I would come home and I would share it with my family, with my parents, and I would tell them as though they had no idea. So when I learned something new, I would come home, Dad, Mom, Dad, guess what? Guess what my teacher told me in class today? Guess what I learned in school today? I would be so excited. My dad would always tell me this story. He said, I'll never forget when you learned what a square was. You came to the house, you were like, dude, this is a square, this is a circle, this is a rectangle. And my dad said, I know what that is. And he said, you looked at me, you were like, so you mean you talked to my teacher? You talked to my teacher, Dad? My dad was laughing. He said, wow, this girl really thinks I don't know anything. So, I would, in my formative years, when my teachers taught me something, I knew it all. When I got to middle school, I was still a social learner, but I also took more time in my studies because it was getting a little bit more rigorous, just a little bit. Then when I got to high school, girl, I was a nervous wreck of a learner, and I say that because I had a lot of anxiety. I was always nervous about taking tests, and it gets a little stressful. So sports actually, to a degree, kind of alleviated that for me. But in high school, I was all kinds of a learner. So I was a visual learner. I was a social learner. I was an auditory learner. Like I needed to be able to like hear, see. I needed to be social. Yeah. I needed to engage in different ways.
Hands-on.
I needed to be very hands-on to understand what I was learning.
That's interesting. Usually you don't hear kids saying, to me, I hear, I can't wait to be in a group project. Is that what I'm hearing?
You said what?
I can't wait to be in a group project.
I mean, not necessarily I can't wait. I just knew I needed it to survive. That was the kind of learner I was. Yeah, I needed the help. It is what it is.
Okay. No, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I'm the kind of learner that I need these things to be applicable to real life situations and scenarios. So for example, when a teacher teaches a new concept or a new idea, they can explain it in a way that is applicable to a real life scenario in my life. Girl, I'm winning. Yeah. And then in college, I don't know how I got like this, but I became a very like solo learner. So I think that had to do with the amount of responsibilities that I took on in my work schedule and the different activities that I had going on in my life and family. I had to, create a schedule that worked for me when it came to studying. So I couldn't really do a lot of like study groups my first 2 years of college. I was playing sports, I was working, had a lot of family things going on, and I was in school full time. So I had to find times that worked for me to study. So I would study a lot like late at night. I would wake up really early, like at 3, 4 to study. I remember my first year in college, I was taking a chemistry class, and that class was so stressful. And I remember going to work like the night before the class. I've been studying. And the night before, I got off like maybe at like 5, got home at like 5:36, took a nap, woke up and started studying at 8 o'clock. I did not sleep. And I remember going to Starbucks at like 11:30, starting to get nervous. Like I was getting overwhelmed because I was feeling like I'm not ready, even though I probably was at the time. But I was a student that always psyched myself out. So by the time I got to college and I was always by myself, having to, study on my own, which was fine, I think I started to develop a lot of anxiety. So in college, I picked up the habit of drinking coffee and chewing a lot of gum. Yeah.
I do that now.
I have to credit to my friend at the time. Her name is Chika. Chika, if you are listening to this, smile very well.
Hello.
But no, at the time, I remember she helped me a great deal with my chemistry class because preparing, I was always by myself, and I remember meeting her, and she was so smart, and she just was so knowledgeable, and she understood chemistry like the back of her hand. And so I ended up like my second semester in college, even though I was someone who studied on my own, we became really good friends, and we actually became study buddies first, and then eventually after that we became really, really good friends. So she was really, really she was great. And then Cassie, I loved Cassie.
I love how you remember their names.
Yeah. I know, like she was great too. But we would always joke around when we got together. So we never really studied together. But,
That's how it goes.
Yeah, it was like we was just shooting the breeze. But we're doing well.
But you
now,
passed.
So but I passed.
That's it. And this is General Chem.
This was General
organic. Did you ever take organic? You would know if you took organic.
No,
so that's a no.
I didn't. Yeah, that's a no. She right. Because I'm like, did I take
you would know.
No,
trust me. Organic is
you are
traumatizing.
right about that. You are right about that because there's some classes I will never forget.
Dude.
And chemistry is one of them. But OChem, girl, you can miss me with that. Okay.
I love it. Okay, so that's interesting. You knew that you were a visual learner /
auditory learner.
Yeah, auditory with a group, honestly, to work with everybody to actually put it in real life experience. And so when you get to college, you had to flip the script.
Yeah, I had. Yeah, I mean because my schedule didn't really work with people. I was working full time, I was going to school full time, and I was also playing sports. And I studied a lot at night. I studied a lot very early in the morning. So I
what
had
sport? You don't mind me asking.
Well, track and field.
Track and field. And so you did sports in junior college, and then you transferred to Berkeley. Did you run track in Berkeley?
I did not run track in Berkeley.
Okay, so that's even another switch, I assume.
Yes.
So from being a student athlete in your first 2 years, and then Berkeley to being a student. Did your study habits change?
So, man, and then I recognized, I was like, okay, you're going to Berkeley. track would be nice, but just the requirements to run track, the ROI or the incentive wasn't there for me. So at that point, I thought to myself, girl. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm not getting a scholarship to play sports. I mean, I'm being realistic at this point. You don't have a scholarship. You don't have any type of incentive, no monetary incentive, no anything really to run. You're just going to be running on your own free will, which is cool. I don't knock people that do it. But for me personally, I recognize that it didn't make sense for me given the circumstances that I was in. My whole college experience as a first generation Nigerian-American was so non-traditional, and there's so many things going on in my head at this point, right? So like, I'm the firstborn. I graduate from high school. I didn't get into any of the colleges that I applied to. And in the Nigerian community, at that period of time, if I can remember very clearly, a lot of in the Nigerian community, a lot of the parents, they're happy to talk about where their kids are going to college.
You're a trophy.
And yeah, ma'am,
my
daughter is going to Harvard. My daughter is going to Princeton. my daughter is going to UC Berkeley. And so
and they stress the hell out.
So this is the thing in college, right? I mean, in high school. When I was graduating, I remember my parents helped me to get a college coach to help me get into college. Yeah. But oddly enough, she was great, but working with her didn't really guarantee me a position in college, because at the end of everything, I didn't get into any school I applied to. So I ended up resulting to a community college, and I felt so terrible about myself because, again, I'm in the Nigerian community, and you have all these all of my peers were going to all these 4 years, and I was stuck. I felt like I was stuck at home, and I was going to a junior college. Little did I know that it would turn out to be a blessing in disguise later on down the road. So, that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to have to stay home. And it was hard. Like, I was depressed for a long time. I was really down because I really felt like I belonged in a 4-year. And that's when I resulted to studying on my own and just kind of being on my own, because I was, at home, I was working, I was doing my extracurricular activities, and I was going to school full time.
So from your bachelor's experience, what was the hardest class?
From my bachelor's experience, I will have to say in the junior college, my hardest class was calculus 2. I actually had to take that class over twice. I took it over two times. The third time I did well. That class was hard. And then
walk us through it. What exactly made it hard?
So many things.
Talk to the people.
I was working. I was running track. I was commuting at the time. The first time I took it, I was like, I couldn't handle it, so I had to drop it. The second time I took it,
you dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, talk about that. I'm notorious. I have 6 Fs on my transcript.
Patience was like, oh, okay, we're relatable here. She's dropping classes and shit. Okay.
But no, that was my problem. I'm sitting there like, okay, I got a 19. I'll do better. All right, I got a 25. I'll do better. It's like, bro. It's not like a dumb thing or nothing. It's just you can't do it right now.
I said I dropped it because I said I can't. My mind, I cannot. I knew right then and there I had too much on my plate. So when I got to Berkeley, I wanted to get into. I was pre-med, and I quickly landed. Should be this life is not for me.
It's not a joke.
It's okay though. So I'm doing molecular cell biology. When I tell you the weight that I lost from stress.
Oh, you're a weight loser too. I'm a weight loser too. People were like, I remember I came home.
I came home one time to visit my family because they weren't far. My mom looked at me. She was like, look at your bone that is protruding from your neck. So you're not eating. You're not. I mean, I was stressed.
What class was that?
This was molecular cell biology.
Cell biology.
Never again. MCB 32.
That was a chill class for
It was
me.
MCB 32. I'll never forget that class.
You remember the number?
Yes,
What
ma'am.
the hell?
Yes, ma'am. MCB 32 at UC Berkeley. Girl, almost killed your girl. Almost took me out. I said, oh no. This is wicked, dude.
Okay, so real quick,
Oh my
what about the class? Was it the material? Was it the teacher?
It was everything. It was everything. I mean, just the way Berkeley, just the way the university level operated was different. Like, for example, there was like a lack of relationship. Like, there was a lack of like connection with the professors. In junior college, you can talk to your professors directly. You get to Berkeley, like institutions like Berkeley, Cal, like all these really major institutions. You talk to the TA. You don't talk to your professor. I feel bad doing this because I feel like I'm.
Say it. They need
No,
to
because
know.
some professors, if you're listening, sorry you. I just have to tell the truth,
they
because
need
it's
to
like they
know.
give you all this information to read, and I mean, realistically speaking, you have other classes. You have so much going on.
The first of all, I'll say what you probably thinking about saying. Test is already made. You got to go out and find it. Somebody already took the damn exam.
I didn't
give
know
them
that,
$20.
too.
Give them $20 to get their old
I
exam,
did
to get
not
their
know
old
that,
notes.
man.
They're not. Professors have families. They got other shit going on. They got late car payments. They're not sitting around making extra exams for your particular class.
Girl, let me tell you, I did not know that. So your girl was here reading word for word, trying to, it was too much. It was just too much, and like I would miss the major points of the exam, like major points that you needed to know, because I was trying to learn every little detail, and it didn't work like that. You just know what the major points are and understand the details of those major points.
And sometimes they when you go to class, they'll give it away.
Mm-hmm.
They'll read through this section, that section, that section. Well, 15.3
Exactly.
actually I did it,
and I didn't. Those are social cues your girl missed, because
same here.
in junior college, I had a relationship with my professor. I could talk to my professor. I can meet one-on-one with them. They were just a little bit more accessible. and at Cal, it wasn't the case, and that's okay. I
They
learned
got these
quickly.
30-minute office hours that they're not
If
there
that,
for.
if
that, the door is
But
closed and the lights are off. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the best class that you ever took?
Oh,
Those 4 years.
those 4 years. I would say that my best class was sociology of health and medicine. They taught us like the holistic, the holistic perspectives of health, and so we learned like how these systems worked, how the healthcare systems operated, how pharmaceutical companies operated. We learned about that's in that class. I learned that was where I was exposed to social determinants of health and just all the different things that impact and influence a person's overall health and well-being. And it was that class that really kind of really helped me to better understand the essence of public health and how, and what makes public health the discipline that it is.
Looking back, everything that you know now, what would you tell your younger self?
Oh. I would look at Ejiro and I would say, my dear, breathe and take it one day at a time and enjoy the journey and enjoy the experience. And just know that this does not define you. This experience does not define you. It only shapes you and contributes and adds to who you are as a person. And remember that, you'll be fine. You'll be just fine. And everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to work out.
Beautiful. Yeah. Perfect. I appreciate you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I appreciate you too, Patience. You said what?
I said we're towards the end.
We're towards the end. Oh man, I enjoyed this. This was fun.
I got a little segment called a shameless plug.
Okay.
For whatever you're working on outside of your job.
Oh.
What did you call it earlier?
The FTJ, the full-time job.
FTJ. Outside of your FTJ, I'm taking that.
She got a shameless plug, y'all. Okay, so I get to talk about a business or something I'm doing.
Whatever you're doing.
Listen, y'all.
Outside of the FTJ.
We do a lot. How much time do I got for this part?
You
Can
have
I share?
30 seconds.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, I actually am getting ready to launch my candle company. It's called North of 30. I'm super excited. You can find us at northof30co.com. North of 30 Co on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We're not active yet, but we will be in the upcoming weeks. We're going to be doing our soft launch June 1st, which I'm excited about. And we're going to do our hard launch in the fall of this year. And it's vegan, cruelty-free, phthalate, toxin-free candles.
So go cop that. All right, so before I leave you guys today,
I
want to leave you guys with a quote. One of my favorite quotes. Research your own experiences, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is specifically your own.